last Thursday, some disappointed customers filed a class action lawsuit against a cannabis company that's based here in California. They claim that the company actually lied and misled customers about the amount of THC contained in its joints, which is a growing problem in the cannabis industry. There is actual credibility to this complaint, so let's get into it. Now, this particular lawsuit specifically claims that Jeeter prerolls, which according to the lawsuit are the best-selling prerolls in the country, does not have the THC concentration they purport to have in their prerolls. So DreamFields Brand Inc. and Med for America Inc. are the companies that both produce and sell these joints. And the lawsuit alleges that Jeeter's products contain much less THC than advertised, which makes me feel a lot better because I thought that I had built tolerance that was just like too high, but maybe not. Maybe not. Now, one product in particular, the Baby Jeeter Fire OG Diamond Infused 5-pack pre-roll, which has a great concise name, of course, claims to have 46% THC content. The lawsuit said instead that independent lab testing had shown that the actual THC content was between 23 and 27%, which is a figure more in line with what cannabis products typically contain. Now, keep in mind that customers actually shell out more money for products that purport to have a higher amount of THC. So in 2020, for instance, cannabis that was 7 to 14% retailed for $5.31 a gram, whereas cannabis with over 28% THC retailed for more than twice that, $12.80. And the demand for high THC products has unfortunately led to THC inflation, the practice of intentionally listing false high THC content on labels. So I'm really interested to see how this, class action lawsuit plays out. Obviously, the only people who are allowed to engage in false advertising in this country are politicians, but everyone else needs to advertise, facts about the product that they're trying to sell the public.
Okay, so here come the real drug dealers, corporations. So if you thought the old school drug dealers on the street corner sometimes cut stuff into your product, well, first of all, you're probably right. Okay, and then second of all, wait till you see how the professionals do it. So, look, we had heroin dealers in America before Purdue Pharma, but then Purdue Pharma was like, hold my heroin. I'll show you how you really do this. And so they put it into a pill. They had the government say that it was legal. And by the way, the opioids like OxyContin, they're called opioids because it stands for opium. So they then had guys in suits go sell it all across the country. They had politicians say that it was legal and they could do it all that they want. And they made billions and billions and billions of dollars, and none of them ever went to jail. Okay? One of the distributors, their CEO, I believe, made $700 million. Everybody else down the chain, by the way, when it came to Oxy, did go to jail. A lot of the pharmacists went to jail. The street drug dealers went to jail. The only people who didn't were the CEOs. So now marijuana, welcome to that world, that seedy underground, which is much more, dangerous in a lot of ways than the way that it used to be in the past. Look, I love that it's legal. It takes away the stigma. It gives us the freedom to purchase what we want. Marijuana is generally speaking one of the safest drugs. So don't get me wrong, I love that it's legal. But always be wary of corporations because they're gonna get into these weeds, if you will. And
Heyo.
Zinger. And manipulate the market in 100 ways, and soon they'll buy all the politicians. And well, the only upside of that is that we'll have more marijuana.
So let's talk a little bit about how the investigation will go down, because I'm a little concerned about that. Okay, so obviously they're going to be testing the products to see whether or not there was some deception in the advertising. And the Department of Cannabis Control, also known as DCC, is responsible for certifying laboratories that test and approve the THC content of weed products. But many of those labs are in fact corrupt, okay? So, much like other
shocking
government agencies. So let's talk a little bit about that. A few honest labs banded together, like honest labs who actually want to do honest testing. They banded together to release the following research in order to expose the corruption that they see among their counterparts. There are roughly 50 DCC licensed labs in the state, and competition is fierce to maintain market share in a maturing and plateauing industry. Many labs have sacrificed their scientific integrity to chase what the clients want, higher THC potency results without contaminant failures. The practice has become so prevalent that labs openly advertise their higher potency values to gain customers without fear of recourse. We proactively purchased and tested over 150 randomly chosen flower samples off dispensary shelves. The results were staggering. 87% of the samples actually failed their label claims, i.e., they were less than 10. I'm sorry, less than 10% deviant. I'm sorry, more than a 10% deviant of their labeled values, with over half of the samples, more than 20% deviant of their labeled THC values, i.e., over 2 times the legal permitted variance. So that's not good. That's very bad, very, very bad. And so furthermore, the research uncovered that a few products contained illegal amounts of Category 1 pesticides, because remember, you got to grow it. It is a plant at the end of the day. So in the fall of 2021, they report, we began engaging with the DCC to address the industry's potency inflation concerns. The DCC requested we provide them with direct evidence of our accusations. So we collected and shared the flower data mentioned above. The department tested the same batches off the shelf and confirmed our results. Somehow, not a single recall was issued, even for the batches containing Category 1 pesticides. Once you let big business get involved into something wonderful, they will destroy it. And that's what we're seeing now. It's so depressing. And I know that in states like California that have legalized marijuana for both medicinal and recreational use, they've implemented taxes, which I think is totally fine, but they've implemented a far higher tax than what you would experience with, like, say, regular sales tax. And that has made the dispensary bought marijuana products so expensive that it's actually done little to control the illicit drug dealing that takes place. Because obviously buying it from a pusher who's like selling it in the black market is gonna be far more affordable than paying those exorbitant taxes.
Yeah, so here comes big weed, and so what are they going to do? They're going to do what all the other products do, right? They're going to do questionable things like the big pork does. You know what they do? They make sure that the government deregulates their industry, so there's less people watching as they make the sausage. And then what happens? There's more hair and poop that goes into the sausage.
Oh, come on.
I'm just keeping it real. That's a story that we did earlier. That's just a fact, okay? So when you hear government deregulation, you should be hearing poop and hair in your sausage, okay? It's the cops. Regulators are the cops for corporations. That's why Republicans are always screaming, deregulate. They don't want the cops. So now, for the first time, marijuana is gonna get to be sold without any cops at all, either on the street or on Wall Street. So buckle up and brace for impact.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.